Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Shawn Kemp.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Shawn Kemp. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Shawn Kemp. Basketball God. Waiting down the Pistons. How often do we see that? You see where he took off. Kemp. Oh, my goodness. He really is a freak.
On this episode of NBA Now and Then, The Greatest Comparisons, we compare two unbelievably gifted players who caught the NBA off guard during their respective eras.
When he played for the Seattle Supersonics, the forecast always called for rain.
Their highlights captivate basketball fans from the U.S. to Europe and beyond.
His freakish athleticism and dominant style make him Greece's finest player.
With dunks that shake rims and heads at the same time.
Going downhill, these players are like speeding freight trains. Opponents take caution and stay off the tracks.
We are excited to present to you Giannis Antetokounmpo and Shawn Kemp. I'm Uriah.
I'm Maurice.
I'm Lucas.
And I'm Ben.
And we're here to talk NBA
Now and Then.
Okay, we are here with an amazing comparison. Two really fun players to watch. I have a feeling this is going to take everyone here down memory lane, except for Lucas, who is, I think, just learning about basketball because he's
probably before that. To be honest with you, I was learning how to walk.
Yeah, exactly. So let's start with Maurice first. Why are we comparing these two players right now?
Two players who, on a basketball court, coming down the court, it was a scary sight for most defenders. Two players who can dunk the basketball, what's the right word, at a ferocious pace, I'll say.
Okay. Ben, what about you?
Two guys that their athleticism just kind of was like out of the gym and you couldn't really defend it.
Right.
Like the athleticism was just so dominant. We obviously see Giannis now. And then, both guys didn't play college ball, so they kind of fell a little in the draft and were not recruited because they didn't do the traditional college basketball, so they both were teenagers.
And Lucas.
Look, they're not considered quote-unquote humongous in NBA terms, in terms of like body mass. They're not like overweight players, but yet they were so compact with their strength that it made it almost impossible to guard these guys.
Yeah, I think being compact, having that muscle mass, eventually it took Giannis a few years to get there. But once he got there, it was no looking back. Like you said, Maurice, on the break, unstoppable. Then the whole concept of just being so young and so raw in their athleticism is one of the biggest reasons why we're comparing these two. Let's get started.
First quarter. Background.
We're going to dive into this episode, and we're going to start with a foundational question. And the question is, which player today is most like Shawn Kemp? We think about some of the things we mentioned in the intro. Well, we look no further than the alphabet, a.k.a. the Greek Freak. Did you guys know that Alphabet was one of his nicknames?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
It makes sense now that...
I think I might have heard it once, but I forgot.
Yeah. It's just so ironic that we're comparing a player who has the most syllables in his name versus a player who has the least amount of syllables in his first and last name. But anyway, so before he got those nicknames, he was born Giannis Antetokounmpo on December 6, 1994 in Athens, Greece. His parents, Veronica and Charles, emigrated from Lagos, Nigeria, before Giannis was born. Their family grew up in poverty because Greek immigration law prevented his mom and dad from getting a work permit. Giannis grew up with four brothers. I'm sure people knew about that. A few of them actually play in the NBA. Giannis's family was so poor that he had one pair of socks that his mother would wash by hand and a pair of sneakers that he had to share with his brothers. Can anyone guess which sport Giannis was interested in as a kid before he played basketball? Ben, what about you?
Track and field.
All right. And Maurice?
Volleyball.
Lucas?
Soccer.
Soccer?
Yeah, his dad played soccer beforehand.
All right. When Giannis was 13 years old, A basketball scout noticed him playing. Then it was arranged that he would play for the local youth team. Soon he became obsessed with basketball, walking, get this, 5 miles to practice. 5 miles. Question. I'll go to Maurice first this time. What former NBA player highlights did Giannis watch as a kid? There were 3 I'm looking for.
I think the easy answer would be Kobe.
There's one.
I'm going to say Shaq. I'm going to say Shaq.
No, not Shaq's not on my list. Lucas?
LeBron James.
That is incorrect. The answer was
Really?
Iverson, Kobe, and MJ.
Okay.
Those are the players that Giannis
Okay.
was checking out on YouTube.
I see a little bit of all 3 of them in this game, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's got handles, so it makes
Exactly.
sense.
As a teen, Giannis was the point guard for the Athleticism team, where he played with grown men almost twice his age. Now, I don't have any Giannis high school stats, but do you guys want to hear about his FIBA junior team stats?
Sure.
Yes.
For the 2013 FIBA Junior Games, I have an over-under. Points per game for Giannis, over-under 11 points a game. Lucas.
I'm going to say under.
Maurice.
Under.
And Ben.
Under.
All right, you guys are correct. He only averaged 8 points a game in 2013 for the FIBA Games. It's crazy. In the 10 games that Giannis played, he averaged 8 points, 7 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block. I have one more over-under. I'll go to Ben first. Over-under field goal percentage, 48%.
Over.
Maurice?
Over.
And Lucas?
I'm going to say under.
All right, Lucas, you are correct.
Hey.
He shot, you won't believe this percentage, guys. Giannis shot 36%.
I can. Like, look.
36%.
He probably didn't have he had been playing soccer his whole life. It's not that surprising.
Yeah. I just was shocked because, he's so efficient around the rim now. Eventually, Giannis drew the attention of the Bucks, and they sent their GM, John Hammond, to Athens to see this scrawny 6'9" teenager. Many teams knew about Giannis, but he was so raw, he was so skinny, that most teams were afraid to draft him. Not the Bucks, though. Despite his thin frame, obscure basketball career, and not even an invitation to the Nike Hoop Summit, Milwaukee would choose Giannis in the 2013 NBA draft.
Who's be NBA player?
With the 15th pick in the 2013 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Giannis Antetokounmpo from Athens, Greece.
Adrian, what made Giannis' selection at 15 in the 2013 draft so unusual?
Well, consider the fact that in late June, when he is in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, 7.5 months earlier, there wasn't a team in the NBA who had ever heard of him. He went from being completely off the global map to all of a sudden on the brink of the NBA lottery. And the process leading up in those months was just one of the most unique, mysterious, enigmatic. And we take the listener through that process. Remember, this was a historically weak draft.
All right, Ben, let's go to you first. What stands out to you about Giannis before he was entering into the NBA?
I think the fact he was almost a lottery pick with the points, because obviously guys overseas, you see like Luka, but they kind of dominated over there. But so to be drafted that high, that young, that raw, they kind of just like took a flyer, took a chance. And so what's that Kevin Bacon movie where he's like an agent in the 90s? It goes to Africa. Do you guys remember that? Is it Kevin Bacon?
Yes, I think it's called Air Up There.
Yeah,
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
You were describing it. That's like what came to my mind. The Air Up There. I don't know. I think it's a pretty like modern tale because obviously YouTube was around back then, so they probably had enough footage of him. So
yeah,
but I would say it'd be almost a lottery pick with being that raw.
Yeah. And any footage, Ben, that they would get, these scouts of him, they always described it as grainy, not very clear. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. So, Lucas, I'm glad you spoke up. What do you think about Giannis's pre-NBA experience?
I mean, look, like I said, I saw the documentary. Obviously, that was probably slightly dramatized, but it was an event because, like, his family was dealing with, I don't know how, like, they were dealing with immigration problems in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Like, part of the reason why he decided to go pro was so that they could get U.S. citizenship.
Right.
So that's a big deal there. But they talked about the weak draft class. Let's just review. I know we don't usually do this, but I pulled it up because I'm curious now. Let's talk about who was in that draft class that got drafted before him. Anthony Bennett. Victor Oladipo made a couple All-Star games. Otto Porter, Cody Zeller, Alex Len, Nerlens Noel,
Mm-hmm.
Ben McLemore? Yeah. I think it's
McLemore,
yeah. Contavious Caldwell-Pope won a couple championships. Trey Burke, C.J. McCollum, Michael Carter-Williams, the Rookie of the Year that year.
Mm-hmm.
Not even in the NBA now. Steven Adams, Kelly Olynyk, Shabazz Muhammad. It was a really weak class. Like, I'm looking through this. The people drafted of note after him: Dennis Schroeder, Mason Plumlee, Tim Hardaway Jr., Rudy Gobert. Like, Rudy Gobert is probably the only other, like, star player in this one, like a legit star.
That was a horrendous draft.
Yeah.
Like,
That was a
if
bad
your
draft.
top three picks,
That's
if you
bad.
redrafted this, Giannis is clearly number one, Rudy Gobert's two, and then it's kind of like, do you take CJ? I guess CJ's third, and Victor Oladipo's fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
So clearly it was a weak draft. And that was Woj, by the way. I don't know if you recognize his voice.
Oh, yeah, I knew it was Woj.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Maurice? What stands out to you about Giannis's pre-NBA days?
The one thing I noticed about the draft was usually if they consider you a top prospect, they'll have you in your family table on the floor. He was drafted. He came from the stands.
Mm.
So that tells me that he wasn't someone that most teams were looking to draft. You know, that's usually like the second round picks.
Right.
So they dug deep. They did their research and it paid out for them for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Giannis, he seems the way he is now, I guess, is the way he was even back then. Just this stubborn mentality about not resting on his laurels. So clearly, as a young, raw teenager out of Greece, he was very limited with a lot of things when he came to the U.S., including language. Couldn't even speak the language from what I understand.
Cheese whip.
When he went to Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just feel like the thing that stands out to me is, like, number one, humble beginnings, growing up poor, coming to America, which is his experience, but also he used to watch that movie to learn English. He would memorize some of the lines from Coming to America.
Wow.
Also, next
That's
Friday, probably not the best movie to get.
Next Friday. Oh,
yeah.
God.
See, next Friday might be a good one. Yeah, I'm glad that you watched that one.
Yeah. So the last thing I'll say is, for perspective, he is quoted, and I quote, "First time I hear about the Bucks was in the NBA draft." He didn't even know where Milwaukee was, probably on the map. So he's come a long way. All right, now it's time to talk about Rain Man. As Maurice said earlier, it always forecasts rain in Seattle. Before he got that nickname, he was born Shawn Travis Kemp, November 26, 1969, in Elkhart, Indiana. Shawn Kemp was raised by a hardworking single mom in the northern Indiana town that was known for its obsession for hoops. He attended Concord High School, where one time he drew so much attention that an Indiana Pacers center played Shawn Kemp one-on-one. Now, who can guess what happened in that matchup? A, he dunked on the head of the center. B, he crossed him over, crossing him the fall. Or C, the NBA center shut out a high school student, Shawn Kemp, 11-0. Anybody want to take a guess here?
I'll say he shut him out in a one-on-one.
Ben?
Yeah, I'm going to say shutout too.
Shutout. And Lucas?
I'm going to just make a quartet here.
A quartet?
Yeah, I'm going to agree.
Oh, okay. But only 3 people spoke.
Well, you're here, so technically there's 4.
I can't vote because I know the answer.
Okay, well, then a trio. I'll make the trio.
There you go. Okay. All right. I don't remember what anybody said. I'll just give you the answer. The answer was A. He dunked on the center's head. Yeah.
Huh?
Wait, you were going to go with that, right, Maurice?
No, we all went with shutout. 11-0.
You got the shutout? Okay. All right. I don't have any high school stats. I looked high and low for them. You guys want to hear his recruitment stories?
Sure.
Yep.
So I found this interview with Slam magazine that Shawn Kemp had, and he's going back down memory lane, and he opened up a lot about how his path toward the NBA was not the smoothest. So Kemp was a huge attraction in high school. Fans would line up for hours for a seat just to watch him play. His dunks were so powerful that he would get bruises on his hand. And his cousin recalls a time when Kemp dunked, causing sparks to fly on a chain link net.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's how strong he was with his dunks. I have a trivia question. I'll go, I'll put the question out and I'll go to Lucas first. Which college, Lucas, successfully recruited Shawn Kemp despite him not meeting the academic admissions requirements? I'll
Kentucky.
give you. Who?
Kentucky?
You did your research, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All right. Usually you say, see me last.
Well, I wasn't 100% sure, but yeah, it's Kentucky.
It was Kentucky. Very good. All right. Were you guys going to say that?
I was going to say Indiana because you said he was from Indiana.
Yeah, I was going to say Indiana too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys are leaning that way because I'm headed that way. But before I do, Kemp played in the 1988 McDonald's All-American game, and he was the highest scorer of the game. Originally, to Ben and Maurice's point, Bobby Knight was one of the first coaches to try and persuade Shawn Kemp to play for them. Kind of made sense since he grew up there, like you guys are saying, but instead he chose Kentucky, like Lucas guessed, or researched. But then things got complicated. Not only did Shawn Kemp not pass his SATs, he was accused of selling 2 stolen chains owned by a teammate, which was the coach's son.
Ooh.
Now, Kemp in the interview admitted that he pawned it, but he claims he did not steal it. Now, one final story on Shawn Kemp. As a senior living in Texas at this point, he went from Indiana to Texas. He was invited to practice at a gym with NBA players like Detlef Schrempf and Sam Perkins. Kemp dominated the pro players so much that the Dallas Mavericks coaches told Shawn Kemp, "Don't come back." That's how good he was. Yeah, really. Shawn Kemp ended up transferring to Trinity Valley Community College, but still could not play because he was ineligible. Then he put his name into the 1989 NBA draft.
With the 17th pick in the 1989 NBA draft, the Seattle Supersonics select Shawn Kemp from Trinity Valley, Texas Junior College.
Ben, what stands out to you about Shawn Kemp's path to the NBA?
Similar to Giannis, in like he didn't have that much like experience because guys weren't really being drafted at a high school, and then he didn't play for a year. And back then there wasn't YouTube, so you kind of were just going off like what you recently saw. And then yeah, it sounds like Detlef Schrempf and Perkins, that they were on the Sonics back then. So
no, they were actually on the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He made the McDonald's All-American game, so obviously that was a bigger deal back then than it even is now. But yeah, mid first round, I'm sure people were like, "Who's this guy?" You can kind of hear in the crowd like Trinity Valley College. It would have been crazy to see him on Kentucky. I would have liked to see him actually.
That would have been fun. What about you, Maurice?
I think this is a good comparison because once again, Seattle did their research without any college play, little high school, research or, scouting. To find a player who would develop into an all-star level player and, be the best or second best player on a team that gets to a championship. Kudos to them.
Yeah. And Lucas.
Just the draft. I'm looking at the draft class here because, I did it for Giannis And I'm looking here. It was also a weak draft. There wasn't that many guys drafted ahead of him that were super good. I mean, we got Glenn Rice Sr. Okay, good player. And we got Tim Hardaway Sr. Also pretty good player. And I mean, you had a couple other guys like Nick Anderson. I guess Pooh Richardson was good. Sean Elliott was in that one. Danny Ferry. B.J. Armstrong, now a super agent. By the way, the current Boston Celtics player's father was drafted in this draft. And I almost guarantee you none of you guys are going to figure this out. Give you a hint. He is a big man on the Celtics.
Luke Cornett?
Yes!
Oh, wow.
His father, Frank
was a good one, then.
Cornett.
Good
Well, they only have like 2 centers right now on that team, so it wasn't that hard.
His dad was a power forward, 6'9", Frank Cornett.
Nice. He
was a second round pick for the Milwaukee Bucks of all teams.
My quick take on Kemp's pre-NBA career. Look, he dealt with a lot of stuff growing up, and we've covered enough players in these comparisons to notice a thread of comparison, which is a lot of these guys, either they grew up in poverty or they have some type of obstacles that get in their way. But I think the inspirational thing about what we bring to the stage is we let people know, like, hey, nothing's ever easy and you got to work hard for it. So, for instance, like when Shawn Kemp would play against rivals in Indiana, they would mock him and I guess they heard about him failing the SATs, and they would actually yell out SAT. And then the home team would be like NBA. So it was like back and forth like that. At one point, and this is from one of the coaches, high school coaches, they would throw stuff at him. Like they were so mad that he was so good. And the one other thing, when he was drafted, they did boo. But right after that, they showed highlights of him in high school in the Jumbotron, and then the fans started clapping. So they learned very quickly.
In that draft, he was drafted directly after another Seattle. Seattle had 2 picks back-to-back, and Dana Burris.
Burrows.
Yeah.
Oh, he was awesome. He was a sniper.
Was the pick there.
Second quarter. Statistics.
Thomas. Knocked away and stolen. Here's Middleton. Giannis trailing the lob.
Giannis Antetokounmpo from Chris Middleton.
Cross-court passing.
Antetokounmpo throws it down.
As Middleton lobbed it up perfectly. And there's your highlight play tonight.
Lobbed it. Antetokounmpo, 8 seconds. Backs his way up. 5 seconds. Antetokounmpo's got to take a shot. 2 seconds. Step back jumper. Got it! Giannis Antetokounmpo. At the buzzer. Bam! Woo! They are taking a look at this one, but unlike the first half.
Those were the highlights, and here are the stats. So let's take a look at the numbers real quick. Giannis is listed at 6'11", 242 pounds. He's worn number 34 for the Milwaukee Bucks the whole time. Interesting fact, he is not the only superstar Milwaukee Buck to wear that number. Can you guys tell me who the other one was?
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, yep. Ray Allen, 34.
They're going to have 2 retired numbers.
Or maybe
34.
Ray Allen doesn't get his number retired.
That's funny. That's like Jokic and Carmelo.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, that's another good one. So, besides that, let's look at Giannis's best season. Now, Giannis has won 2 MVPs as well as a Finals MVP. I'm sorry for stealing your thunder, Ben, but it was hard for me to choose one, but I went with his second MVP season. And here's the stats. 29.5 points, 13.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, while shooting 55% from the field, 30% from the three-point line, and 63% from the foul line. And then getting into his career highs here. I think we all know the career high. It just happened this season. If you don't, raise your hand if you don't. I know okay. Uriah, you guys can't answer this, but Uriah, over under 60 points.
I'll say over.
You would be correct. 64.
Okay.
That was the game against the Pacers where Giannis was freaking out about the game ball.
Oh, that's right. That happened recently. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Besides that, he's had a career high 22 rebounds. Over under, guys, this is for all you guys now. Over under 15 assists as a career high.
Over.
Maurice.
I'll go under.
I'll go under.
Ben is the only one correct. He got 16 assists during this season.
Cool.
He's also had a career high 5 steals, 7 blocks. I'm just going to note one other thing here. Going to start trying to do this a little bit more now, is looking at where he ranks in his own franchise. So he's first among games played, minutes played, field goals, field goal attempts, free throw attempts, defensive rebounds, total rebounds, assists, blocks, turnovers, personal fouls, points, triple doubles, and that's the main ones I wanted to touch on. There's some advanced stuff, but I'm not really looking at that.
He's already number one in franchise history in points.
Oh yeah, he passed Kareem. He's about I think 3,000 more than Kareem by now.
Wow.
Yeah, 3,000.
Still got a lot of years left too.
Yeah, he's never really been hurt for that long of a time, Giannis.
No, he's at 17,496 points as of now.
Okay.
So he's only, what is he, like 28, 29, maybe 30? He is,
I think he's like 29.
He just turned 29 40 days ago. So he still has a lot of time to put up those big numbers. So let me start off with Ben. Ben, what are you taking away from these stats?
I mean, we just kind of talked about it. The durability, the fact that he's all time. It doesn't seem like he's slowing down with the career high. I don't want to get into teammates, but I just think that the Bucks have done such a good job of centering around his ability. Kind of like LeBron kind of started that, where it's like a specific skill, bigger kind of guard play.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bucks have just like really done a good job. And look what they did. They just were like, okay, cool, we're going to retool. This isn't working. Bring in Damian Lillard. So I think, yeah, just with what they've done, because he is flawed with his shooting. It's inconsistent. I would personally, if I was in a playoff series, I would do Haka Giannis like pretty much every game. I know teams do that, but
I mean, it didn't work out for Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would say the fact that he's already like around 18,000 points, so he might actually get up there when it's all said and done to be like maybe number 2 in scoring.
Well, the thing is, he didn't really even hit the 20-point plateau until his 4th season. And then on top of that, games played, he hasn't missed more than 61 games in any season thus far. So not counting this season. So that's interesting. What about you, Uri? What are you thinking?
Can you remind me of blocks, like his average for blocks?
His average for blocks for his career is 1.3.
Okay. Yeah, I think what gets overlooked with him because he is so dominant on the break, unstoppable, his post moves. He's like a brutal player in the post. It's like I would be afraid to even if I was
there are only a handful of players that can handle him in the post in the modern NBA.
Aside from his offensive dominance, I think defensively, the blocks, steals, the ability to deny guys at the rim and then get out on the break and finish with a dunk. I think that's what makes him so special. And I think that part of his stats stand out to me.
By the way, the last 2 seasons, his second MVP season, I said it was 29.5. Last 2 seasons, he's been averaging 31.
Right.
This season and last season. So he's even gotten, increased his volume. And this season, actually, he's shooting 60% from the field, which is a career high for him. Maurice, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, some people tend to forget is Giannis really didn't play until his 3rd season. He was a really underdeveloped. He didn't get a lot of playing time. He did get some playing time. You got to remember, too, they were focusing that franchise around Jabari Parker.
Yes.
Yeah. And really, Giannis came out of nowhere when Parker had injuries, and Giannis became the main focal point of that franchise. And what a fortunate situation for them, I guess.
Yeah, I do want to rebuttal on the. I think the perception was he didn't get a lot of playing time, but his rookie year he averaged 24 minutes per game. In the next 2 seasons afterwards was 31 and 35.
Okay.
So he's actually in terms of he actually got a lot of playing time. He just didn't score a lot, which
Right.
made you think that he didn't get a lot of minutes. But actually, fun fact, he played point guard his 3rd season under Jason Kidd.
Did he?
Yes, he
played
did.
point
They have him
guard?
listed as
Wow.
point guard here on NBA Basketball Reference. Yeah.
Maybe Kid was on to something before he got fired. That's interesting. Yeah.
I tend to forget
That's
Jason
it.
Kidd was the coach.
Yeah. And that's a good grab, Maurice, bringing up Jabari Parker. I completely forgot that he played.
yeah.
Unfortunately, the injuries kind of took him out of that equation and kind of opened the door for
number 2
Giannis.
pick, right?
Yep.
Yep.
They could have had Embiid.
Oh yeah.
The spacing
Wow.
would have been horrible, though. Well,
That
no,
would have
Joel.
been.
No, that would have worked.
Yeah, I
'Cause
guess
they
so.
play very different.
He posterized Scottie Pippen.
Offensive energy to stay close until they get some defensive concept of how to shut them down.
How about that for a solo?
Cage deflected away, loose to the floor. McMillan scrapes it up, goes back, up he comes. Gatling swats it away. Kemp powers in with a jam. Gatling got a piece of it, comes up and says, "Wow, we did a job, didn't we?" And they high-five each other. They really appreciate the talents. Kemp with 18 on the power jam.
Well, I'll tell you again, Shawn Kemp is the guy who can ignite you.
Yeah, so those were some highlights. Here are the numbers. So Shawn Kemp was listed at 6'10", 230 pounds. Not too far off. He wore number 40 all but one stop. He wore number 4. Can anybody tell me where he wore number 4 at?
Is it Orlando?
The Cavs.
Yeah, it was the Cavs.
Oh, Cleveland? Okay.
Yep, he wore number 4. That's when they had the blue and black jerseys, apparently. Anyway, so I went with the season not only that Shawn Kemp made, an all-star game, but also an all-NBA team. His best season, I'm going to go with the 95-96 season. He averaged 19.5 points, 11.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1.5 blocks, while shooting 56% from the field, 41% from the three-point line, and 74% from the foul line. Going into career highs. So game highs, over under 45 points. This is game high, Uriah.
I go over.
Maurice.
Over.
Ben.
Under.
Ben is correct. It is 42 points as a career high.
Okay.
He also has had a career high 22 rebounds and a career high 12 assists, 7 steals, 10 blocks.
Wow.
Second season that happened. So this is, and I hope when they do expansion, they change this so that the OKC franchise history stuff is going to be different than the
Seattle.
the Sonic stuff. But right as of now, Shawn Kemp is only the franchise leader in one category. Can anybody tell me what they think it is?
I'll say blocks.
Maurice?
I'm going to say blocks as well.
Ben?
Field goal percentage.
You're all
wrong.
It's offensive rebounds.
What?
Okay.
2,145. Steven Adams was the closest one to snab him, and nobody currently playing for the Thunder has it right now.
Yeah, so what you were saying was all the stats are combined for Seattle and Oklahoma City?
Yeah. So what I'm hoping for is when NBA expansion happens again, that they allow them to separate those, because that's what they've done in the past with the Hornets and the Pelicans, stuff like that. So that's what I'm hoping for. Let me start with, who did I start with last time? Ben, Uriah, you're up this time.
Yeah, I think the one stat you mentioned, Lucas, that stands out to me is the blocks. The one thing that both of these players have in common is because they can get up so quickly off of their feet, they can recover, they can close out even on jump shooters. Their length is just as impressive as their ability to make plays. So I think those blocks, I remember Shawn Kemp just getting up.
Well, was Shawn Kemp a strong help side defender? I haven't seen him. Okay, so that's something that him and Giannis have in common, because Giannis gets most of his blocks and stuff as a help side defender.
Yeah. So they're both help side defenders, and both of them are formidable opponents at the rim, contesting shots. So I think the block stood out to me.
Okay. What about you, Maurice?
I mean, it's hard, and it's hard to not mention the 10 blocks. That's pretty crazy, because not even tall, lankier, more guys, defenders with more length can do that. So that's pretty impressive. The points. I never really perceived Shawn Kemp as being, a high scoring player.
He only busted over 20 points one season. That was 20.5 his first season in Cleveland.
Yeah, I think he had his highest scoring season was a year after he left and went to Cleveland.
Yeah. Oh, no, not his. Sorry, not his first season in Cleveland.
Oh, the second
season. Yeah, it was second season, the lockout season.
Yeah, but his career high, I didn't know that one, so that was something new for me. Shawn Kemp, we always remember Shawn Kemp as just a dunker, but like guys like even guys like we featured here on the pod before, Dominique Wilkins. They could score too if need be.
Ben?
Yeah, the points. I'm surprised it's so low. Given that he had Gary Payton as a point guard, I'm just kind of surprised. I guess they probably. When Maurice goes, I'm curious to see the teammate. I mean, Detlef Schrempf. He had a pretty balanced team.
Yeah.
So I think that probably had a lot to do with it. But yeah, I think given they were on a really good team. But yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't use him more, or the fact that he didn't have a 25-point season. So that's definitely stood out to me.
Well, I'm going to point out a few things that surprised me. First off, his 3-point percentage. I mean, as a career was only 27%, but there was one season that he attempted 33 for a guy that's 6'10". Is pretty rare back in the 90s, I would say. And he made 12 of them. So that's about 36%. That's not a bad sample size. Who could have known if he played in the modern NBA if he could have been a floor spacer?
So that 41% from three, how many? What was the volume on that?
He had 12 attempts on 5 shots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The season afterward was the one with the 33. He also led the league in total fouls 3 times.
Oh, I didn't know
not
that.
Fouls per game, but total fouls.
Getting fouled, right?
No.
People foul.
Him fouling people.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah. One season, his last season in Cleveland, he had 371 personal fouls called against him.
Wow.
Surprised that did not lead the league.
I just want to say one thing about his scoring, because I distinctly remember him playing in the 90s, because anytime they were on national TV, I think everyone, because he's on the West Coast, it's when else are you going to watch Shawn Kemp and Gary Payton? But I remember, guys, his shooting form was pretty good.
Was it?
For a guy that was 6'10". If you watch his highlights, the release, his elbow, his squaring up, he had a pretty good jump shot form. So it's no surprise that as far as his perimeter game, he was pretty good.
The weird thing
you
is,
saw that in Cleveland.
The weird thing is, if that's the case, he never shot 80% or higher as a free throw shooter. His career average was 74%.
Right.
So
yeah, he was in an era of power forwards kind of taking over too. You had Barkley, Karl Malone. So he developed. I remember when he was on the Cavs. I think he was an all-star. He actually had a nice little post game. I remember.
Yeah.
Third quarter, accolades.
I want to thank my team. First of all, I want to thank my teammates. It takes more than one person to win 16 games. Every time I walked to the locker room, I saw my teammates. They were ready to go to fight. They were ready to go to war with me. They laced up their shoes. They went out there and they gave 100%. I want to thank the coaching staff for I want to thank the coaching staff for teaching us, pushing us every day, every single day, believing in us, teaching us what it takes to win. I want to thank the front office, the ownership for believing in me.
Didn't realize he got that emotional. That is Giannis accepting, I'm guessing, his first MVP. So he is a back-to-back NBA Most Valuable Player, 2019 and 2020. And he has been a finalist the following 3 years. It's pretty much been the same three players the last, 4 or 5 years. He is a 7-time NBA All-Star and 7 straight times, 2017 to 2023. It's pretty impressive. How many times has Giannis been All-NBA first team? I'm going to go with Lucas.
I'm going to say 6 times.
All right. Maurice.
I'm going to do a little calculation. And I'm going to say she's a 6 or 7. I'm going to go with 7.
All right. And Uriah?
I'll go with 7.
You were all wrong.
What?
It's 5.
I was thinking 5.
Okay.
I was like,
again,
let me go.
5 straight. So we're in the current 2019 to 2023. He was a 2-time All-NBA second team member, 2017, 20. So the thing I think to remember is he's listed as a forward.
Yes.
And so is LeBron and so is Kevin Durant. So I think that's the thing. So he has overtaken those guys probably just because of age. But yeah, in 2017, 2018, those guys were ahead of him.
That makes sense. And now it's going to change because All NBA is positionless now, right?
Is it?
Yes,
it's this year?
I think it's this year.
Yeah, they need to do that.
Yeah, that's a long time coming.
Yeah. DeAndre Jordan and
oh gosh, that gave me the
and the amount of Rudy Gobert has way too many NBA teams. Anyway, all right, so this is an interesting stat. So Giannis is one of the only players, I think it's only been done in the modern NBA 3 or 4 times, to win the NBA Most Valuable Player and NBA Defensive Player of the Year in the same year.
Yes, yeah.
And he did that in the 2020 season.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys list the other players who've done it?
Modern NBA?
Modern NBA.
So we're talking 85 and forward, right?
I think it's more when they gave the words out.
Okay. MJ's one. I'm going to say Tim Duncan's another one. And I'm going to say those are the only 2. Tim Duncan and MJ.
All right, Uriah?
I would say Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan.
I forgot about Hakeem. Yeah, I'll throw Hakeem, so I'm going to say 3.
You guys can took off all the answers. Kobe?
So same year, guys. Same year is what I asked.
Yeah, all MVP and Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I would have gave Jordan. I would have gave Hakeem. That's
the question
tough.
is, do you think
Kevin Garnett?
Duncan?
Ooh,
so Maurice, you just listed off. You guys have kind of figured out. Those are the only 3. So you just listed off the 2 guys who've done it before.
Okay.
It's only been Jordan and Olajuwon in the same year.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
So so Giannis is in very small company. Those are the only. I mean, you have to think about how good of a all-around player you have to be to do that. And so there are other players who've done it in the modern NBA. And you did mention Garnett, David Robinson. They've done it, but Kevin Garnett did it in different seasons. So did David Robinson. They didn't do it in the same season.
Gotcha.
But Jordan, Olajuwon, and Giannis are the only 3 players. I think that is hands down his most impressive stat, in my opinion.
Real quick question.
Has he won all the major stats? Because he's won Rookie of the Year. No, Most Improved. No, he didn't win Rookie of the Year. That's the only one he didn't win.
No, he wasn't. No.
So he obviously he has. Yeah, that's the thing about Giannis. He won that Finals MVP. Obviously, he 50 points in the game 6. He hasn't won a scoring title, surprisingly. That was kind of surprising. I think it's just.
I mean, Joel Embiid right now, man.
Yeah, Embiid. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because I think
it's either him or Luka are probably ahead of him.
Yeah, I think he's in an interesting era of scores. So that's the one thing that surprised me. And I think that'll probably change. I mean, probably not with Luka, actually, but that surprised me that he doesn't have a scoring title.
Hey, real quick question to you guys: Is Giannis the greatest power forward ever now?
No, but he's close. He's close.
Greatest power. Who would you pick over Giannis?
Me?
I'm just curious. Yeah,
Duncan.
You pick Duncan?
Yeah, Duncan's his nickname is literally the greatest power forward of all time. So Duncan,
I think Duncan. So you're right. I think Giannis is more dominant in a way, but I do think Duncan's style of play is more conducive towards like actually winning in the playoffs. Because Giannis has had a lot of flame outs. I mean, we come from a we know what that looks like. But yeah, he's had a lot of first round exits, and like he really only had one good playoff run. They've designed a good team around him. I just think that he had that one good playoff run, and I need to see a few more before I start saying
that's fair.
Because Tim Duncan's won like 5 NBA championships, right?
Okay, yeah. So Tim Duncan, I would put Tim Duncan ahead of him. Him and KG are tied right now for me. I think.
KG, good point.
KG's probably tied. He's ahead of Barkley. He's ahead of Dirk.
He's ahead of Karl Malone.
Yeah. So I would say third right now, probably. KG probably ahead of him slightly right now, just because of longevity.
Yeah. So we're obviously in Giannis's peak. We're in his prime. So all these stats are like straight. Like he's 7-time straight All-Star, NBA All-Star MVP in 2021. How many All-NBA first-team defensive teams has Giannis been a part of? I'm going to start with you, Uriah.
2.
Okay. Lucas?
3? I want to say 3, maybe.
All right, Maurice?
3.
It's 4.
Wow.
He's a 4-time All-NBA first team.
Nice.
2019, 2022. He actually didn't get on a team last year, believe it or not. He was All-NBA second team in 2017. He was 2-time All-NBA second team 2017, 2018. And then he was the 2017 NBA Most Improved Player. So that was kind of when he took his leap, and he hasn't really backed off. He's gotten kind of better every year. I think this year we can all probably agree his jump shot's a little better.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, yeah.
And 3-point percentage is down, but
that was never his role. That was never his main thing.
Yeah. Is this foul shooting up, Lucas? It feels up.
Give me a minute. I had to exit out of that tab because I thought I was done there. Give me 1 minute.
It feels like he's shooting better from the free throw line. At least the games I've been watching. And then while he's getting that, he was All-NBA Rookie second team 2014. And he is a member of the NBA 75th. Oh, it's down. Okay.
I mean, technically it's up from last year, but it's still not even close. Like, he was in the 70s for a while, but 4 out of the last 5 years, he's shot below 70%. So
it's not that good for the amount he shoots. All right, he's the NBA 75th anniversary team, and he plays for Greece, as we said. So he was the FIBA Eurobasketball top scorer in 2022, the Eurocar Player of the Year in 2018, and he was the Greek League All-Star in 2013. So that's Giannis, NBA champion 2021. I was an NBA Finals MVP in 2021, as we know. Let me ask you, Uriah, what stands out to you?
Well, when you reminded us that he was second team All-Rookie team, I completely forgot about that. And I'm glad that we brought up some of the stuff from his early career, because I don't recall. Like, it just seems like once he became an All-Star, we never looked back to those humble days. But I think that stood out to me. Obviously, the 2-time All-Defensive Player of the Year. I think that says a lot, because this entire time, by the time he started winning Defensive Player of the Year, he was the number 1 scoring option on the Bucks, and that's not easy to do. Whether it's Michael Jordan or Hakeem Olajuwon, to be the number 1 focal point, you're getting double teamed left and right, and then you have to go down the other end and provide and be an anchor for your team's defense. It's not easy to do. So those stand out to me.
Maurice, what stood out to you?
One thing at the end you mentioned was he was on the NBA 75 team. There was some debate about if he should have made that team.
Really?
That he was still young. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, Jokic and Embiid weren't on it, right?
No.
No.
Yeah, so I kind of agree. He's pretty young.
I don't know, man. Look, I mean, he's won a championship. He has 2 MVPs already, despite being that young. Jokic was I think he only had 1 MVP at the time. Joel had none. I get it.
Right.
So, like, I'm not upset about that.
Yeah.
I'm upset about Dwight Howard not being on there.
Well, there's a lot of questions about who should have been, who's been on. But going back to Giannis, it kind of reminded me of the NBA 50 team when people were questioning if Shaq should have been on it. If Uriah remembers that.
I do remember that.
Because Shaq, I think Shaq was like in his 5th year, something like that.
Right.
Not even 5th. I think it's 4th year.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that automatically came to my brain. Should Giannis have been on an NBA 75 team? And that says a lot about his career so far. People think he's one of the 75 best basketball players ever.
Right.
And this is 2022, NBA 75. That was last year. So, yeah.
I wonder, Maurice, how much, whoever voted for these players, I wonder how much of his biography made them say, yeah, he should make it. In other words, he went through a lot, being an international player, coming from like really, really bad situation in terms of poverty. Had he, let's say maybe he grew up as the son of a former NBA player and maybe had some advantages, would he still have made that team? Or do you think maybe the committee
struggle,
said this,
the come up?
Yeah. That's what I wonder if that helped.
I would hope. That. I would hope not.
Okay.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
So Lucas is like just no bias. It's all about production.
It's all about the hoops.
Okay. All right. I was just wondering. Right.
Yeah, I think, and then I think kind of that stat that we mentioned, the being in the small company of Olajuwon and Jordan, you kind of have to give it to him then. Lucas, what about you? What stands out?
The fact that he's made all NBA defensive first teams as many times as he has, because look, I'm not saying that he's a bad defender, but I think he's slightly overrated as a defender. He's an elite help defender. I'm not saying that he's not. But in terms of one-on-one defense, how often do you see Giannis actually guarding the other team's best player? Not that often, right? Despite them being wings and him supposedly being a forward, I think that speaks volumes to me there. I don't think...
So wait a minute, time out. I'm not trying to make this a debate. I just want to understand your position. Mm-hmm. So a guy who got Defensive Player of the Year twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They didn't see that he's just a help defender?
I think that people were so enamored with advanced, stats that they sometimes ignore. And here's the other thing. He has a guy on his team, 2 guys before this past season that were all NBA level defenders as well.
Brook
Lopez and Drew Holiday.
That is a luxury. That is a luxury that he has.
He's the third best defensive. He was the quote unquote third best defender on his team prior to the Drew Holiday trade.
Oh, I see.
And now, anyway, that's just what I think.
Yeah, that's a good take. He's had the fortune of playing with like Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez.
Lucas wants to strip Giannis of his.
No.
He wants to strip Giannis of his titles.
That is not what I said. I am just saying that I think that the Giannis hype train was really real at the end of the 2010s.
I completely see your position. I just think it's funny. I never heard anybody say that before.
I'm not saying that he's a bad defender. Let's be clear.
No. Yeah.
I just think that he might be slightly overhyped because he's Giannis, the Greek freak, Swiss cheese and all that. Whatever he said, I don't. Is that what he said?
Cheese.
Where is this coming?
No. He said it after
Swiss cheese.
Yeah, some type of like cheese thing that he said when he was in Philly one time.
It's the cheese thing. He's like he didn't understand what
cheese whiz. I thought
cheese whiz
with or without cheese. Whiz.
Yeah,
whiz.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So anyway,
all right. Well, yeah, that's Giannis. It's still obviously. In a couple years, I'm sure his accolades and achievements will be doubled. So,
all right, Thanks, Bob. Now, these two guys have something in common with the man you've been talking about, Shaquille O'Neal. That's power, size, and quickness. And, Larry, is that the prototype for the new NBA star, do you think?
I would hope so. You know, you find these guys coming in playing a 4 spot and a 5 spot. They all have that package with them. And, you know, to be a good player in this league, you got to have that. And I think Shawn may have it a little bit more than me, but I'm trying to get there.
Well, Shawn may have a little bit of a problem, right? Because you have a bum thumb that kept you out of the slam dunk contest. How's your thumb right now?
That's a little sore, but, you know, this is a game I couldn't miss. This is my first All-Star game, and something I've looked forward to, and I'm just glad to be here.
What's it been like for you?
Well, it's been good. It's been a good weekend. This is a weekend we've all the fellas have hung out together and talked and got to know each other even closer.
All right, well, you guys have fun. Who knows? We may even see you matching up against each other. Now let's send it over to Steve Jones.
All right, that was Shawn Kemp, I'm guessing, being interviewed at the All-Star game?
Yep.
His first All-Star game, it sounds like.
Who was he being interviewed with? Did anybody catch that?
Larry Bird?
It was Larry, but not Larry Bird.
Larry Johnson?
Yeah, Larry Johnson. Yeah.
All right, so Shawn Kemp, he had a brief stint, I would say, compared to kind of where Giannis. I mean, they're about the same, about 6-7 years. All right, how many All-Star games has Shawn Kemp been a part of? Uriah?
I would say 4.
All right. Maurice?
I think it's 4 too. 4.
It's 7.
7? 7
All-Stars? 7. Is it 7 or 6?
6.
There we go. 6.
Oh, okay.
In 6 straight years. He probably would have been an All-Star. Lucas is kind of right in 99.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because they didn't have the All-Star
lockout season. So he again, probably, and he also probably would have been on the All-NBA team as well. But yeah, 6 straight All-Stars from 93 to 98. And how many times was Shawn Kemp an All-NBA team member? Let's start with you, Maurice.
Are we talking first, second, and third, right?
All of them.
He was on the same team each year that he was on there, guys.
Okay, so Lucas knows this. So
yeah,
I'm gonna say 6.
Okay,
I'll say 5.
The answer is 3, and he was on All NBA second team.
Yep.
Oh,
3 years in a row.
Yep.
Yeah. Now remember, mid 90s, power forward. So kind of a peak. Karl Malone and Charles Barkley. So I don't think he was going to get in that forward position over those two guys.
Yeah.
So he was a 6-time All-Star, but only a 3-time All-NBA. So there were 6 in those All-Star years.
Scottie Pippen. So yeah, he would have not. It would have been peak Scottie Pippen, and then it would have been Barkley and Karl Malone. So then I don't think he ever would have gotten first team with those guys. No. Those 3.
No, because Barkley was averaging like 26, 27. Malone was always 28 points a game.
Yeah, and then Scottie
they were
Pippen,
double-double. They were always double-double machines.
So those were the forwards who was always kind of like he never. And then I'm sure there was probably like outliers, but I think those 3 guys when Shawn Kemp was in his prime were at their peak. So yeah, that's probably why.
Okay.
He was on the FIBA World Championship team in '94. That's it.
Didn't he play in the Olympics in '96? I could have sworn he was an Olympic.
No, it doesn't say he was.
No? Okay.
It says he represented the U.S., but it says just the FIBA World Championship in '94.
Okay.
Because he wasn't on the Dream Team.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been, and then he wasn't on the Dream Team 2. So, and then I would say this, this is kind of an accolade. He obviously is one of the greatest dunkers of all time.
Yes.
But he did make the NBA Finals in 96. And he beat they went up against arguably the best team of all time, the 96 Chicago Bulls.
Yes.
72-10. And yeah, I think they took him to 6, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they took him to 6. So I think in a non-prime Michael Jordan, like the best team ever, maybe that team wins a chip,
Yeah.
So, and then I would say one of the best duos of all time is Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp. Yeah. But that's about it. What do you guys think? I'll start with you, Uriah.
The one thing about Shawn Kemp is that as fast as he became popular through his dunking, his highlights, being the ultimate lob threat with Gary Payton. He declined really quickly, especially when he got traded away. He had a weight problem. He really ballooned. I think he got over 300 pounds at one point. If his game is predicated upon athleticism, leaping out of the gym, and using that to overpower and even intimidate opponents, then he kind of loses his effectiveness and his health. I think he didn't have like the healthiest career. But no matter, it's kind of like we talked about one episode, Penny Hardaway, in the same era, like very impactful in a quick, short burst period of time. Not sure if he'll make the Hall of Fame. There's some footage of him out there online with Gary Payton talking about maybe Shawn Kemp becoming Hall of Fame, but I don't know about that. I wouldn't hold my breath for that. But yeah, I think the accolade that stands out to me that you said was All NBA, because even though he didn't make first team, for him to make second team it's not easy to do, especially a guy that didn't go to college and had the issues that he had.
Yeah, and it's important to know that those Seattle teams, I think they won over 60 games at least once, maybe a few times. So they were dominant. Reese, what stands out to you?
Them Seattle teams were actually really good. They were 60-win teams pretty much. I think they had like a 4-year span where they were like upper 50 wins, almost 60-win teams in the mid-90s. Yeah, to kind of piggyback over what Uriah was saying. And I had to question it because I'm like, Shawn Kemp wasn't only a two-time, but that was probably the best era for forwards next to maybe like the early 2000s with Garnett and Duncan and Nowitzki. But that era of forwards was really good. And for Shawn Kemp to still stand out, and we didn't even mention like Dominique.
Yeah,
and other power forwards like him. Yeah, that was a good era, and for him to stand out, yeah, that was pretty good for him.
Lucas, what stood out for you?
Like Uriah mentioned, just a short run of it all, and I guess it was due to health situations and just overall just like not being able to stay in shape. It kind of sounds like Zion a little bit, but it's a shame, really. I guess it's a shame because he could have probably done more if he could have stayed healthier longer.
I just want to add to the point of their record. I think Lucas mentioned it, or Maurice did. So in 90-91, they were 41-41. And then I guess once Gary Payton got drafted and they got all the right pieces, George Karl was the coach. They won 47 games in 91. 92, they won 55 games. 93, they won 63 games. 94, 57, 95, 64 games, 96, 57, and then 97, 61. That proves that even though he doesn't have the accolades, Shawn Kemp was a crucial part of the Seattle Supersonics success.
Yeah, man. They were some good Seattle Supersonic teams. They really were. I do remember the one clip of them getting upset by the Denver Nuggets, the one playoff season. And Dikembe Mutombo was holding the ball in a joyous celebration on the floor, on the court. He was holding the basketball.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
To the expense of Shawn Kemp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, teammates.
What does it feel like to know that with all the scraping and scrapping and clawing and you and Giannis together 8 years ago that it turned into this?
It doesn't feel real yet. Hopefully it kick in pretty soon. But to be a champion is amazing. To be a champion with my brother Giannis is amazing. To be a champion with all my brothers in our locker room, they've been all amazing for us. Different guys in the lineup, different guys not playing, but whenever the name was called, they were always ready.
And I say scraping and clawing. You guys have talked about the fact that you would get back from practices and have actual scratch marks on your arms from each other. What do you remember about those days, the beginning of all this, and what you learned about being teammates?
I'd say the most important thing is that we were competitors, that we wanted to compete, we wanted to win, no matter who was on the other side of us, whether it was in practice, whether in games. It didn't always come to success, but we learned from our failures. To get to this point, it feels amazing, especially with him, with a lot of things that we've been through, to see the growth that he's taken as a person, as a player. I'm glad to see it all.
Now, in the locker room.
So that was Chris Middleton talking about Giannis, one of his OG teammates. Let's talk about Giannis and his teammates. Drafted 15th pick, 2013 NBA draft. The Milwaukee Bucks they had a 15-win team that year. They were pretty bad. Chris Middleton was one of Giannis's first teammates. This might be a blast from the past with these names right here I'm about to say. Caron Butler, OJ Mayo.
Okay.
Ooh.
Zaza Pachulia, the ever popular when it comes to All-Star voting. Ramon Sessions and Brandon Knight. Going into the 2015-2016 team, they started to improve a little bit more. Actually, they had less wins, but you saw the potential there with this roster. Michael Carter-Williams, Jared Bayless, Tyler Ennis. So this team, like I said, they weren't as good win-wise, but you started to see Giannis come into his own. You started to see the potential there. Now I'm going to move forward a little bit because Giannis only played for one team, the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'm going to move forward to their first real winning season, which was the 2018-2019 season, which they won 60 games. They were the first in the Eastern Conference, and this roster was really good. They had Eric Bledsoe, Malcolm Brogdon, Matthew Dellavedova. No, he wasn't an all-star player anyway, but he had championship pedigree. He's a good backup point guard. Dante DiVincenzo, Paul Gasol, George Hill, Brook Lopez, again Chris Middleton, and a young Christian Wood. That was a really good roster. That was a roster that competed. They didn't win a title, but they were definitely a team to be reckoned with going forward. Usually, when I ask you guys questions about the roster, I'll say who had the most wins with the player. But I think it's fairly obvious it's Chris Middleton.
Right.
So I'm not going to give you the second one because the second one I think is obvious. That's Brook Lopez. Who has the third most wins with Giannis? I'll start with Lucas.
Eric Bledsoe?
Ben?
It's going to be his brother.
Ooh, I forgot about him.
What?
That's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
A really good answer. Go ahead.
I'm going to go with Dante DiVincenzo. He was there for a couple years. Especially when he was winning. They were winning when he got there, I think. I don't know. I'm probably wrong.
You are wrong.
Dang.
With 251 wins, the third most wins with Giannis on the Milwaukee Bucks is Pat Connaughton.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing about the teammates here, and this is more about roster construction. The Bucks made a major miscalculation by betting on Eric Bledsoe versus Malcolm Brogdon. Because if they would have traded Eric Bledsoe and kept Malcolm Brogdon, then they probably wouldn't have needed to make the Drew Holiday trade.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, Drew Holiday is a better player.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. But they wouldn't have thought about making that trade just because Malcolm Brogdon, I mean, we saw the 1 year in Indiana when he was the starter, he was averaging 22 and 11. So he can put up good numbers.
Yeah, it's interesting going through this, they didn't draft any of these guys.
No,
these are all free agents.
Yeah.
So it's interesting the Bucks don't even they don't care about draft, and you're kind of seeing that now. Like, it's very interesting that the whole thing has been because Middleton was in his second year, he was technically a free agent, and he's been with Giannis his entire career. But yeah, they if it doesn't work within a year or two, you're gone.
Yeah,
look at Drew Holiday right now. So yeah, they're very they're good in free agency. I got to give it to them. They've hit some luck, like Brook Lopez having this second type of career. They've hit some luck with the guys that I would say, have bet on.
I completely forgot that Pau Gasol played with the Bucks.
Oh, you did?
I don't remember that. Was it for 1 year or was he?
I think that was his last season.
Okay, all right.
I think that was his last season.
Yeah, and didn't Robin Lopez play with the Bucks?
He's on there now, but this is his second stint there.
Robin Lopez.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and going back to Brook Lopez, and we had to talk earlier about Giannis and his defense. Brook Lopez was their main big man defender, and he's won all defense and everything. So, and with that, and combined with Drew Holiday, Giannis didn't have to be the best defender. He just had to be a defender. So going to the 2021 NBA season, and the Milwaukee Bucks became NBA champions that season. The season was a little shortened. This is after the pandemic. Some of the names on that team with Giannis, like I mentioned, Pat Connaughton, Dante DiVincenzo, Drew Holiday was on that team. He was acquired via trade. Brooke Lopez, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, PJ Tucker. And last but not least, his brother, let me get this right, Thanos?
Yes. Thanasis.
It's Thanasis, yeah.
Thanasis.
Yeah.
Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
He had another brother there.
Yeah.
I think it was a Costas.
Costas, I think it was Costas.
He didn't.
There's another brother, Alex, but he's
not
really in the league.
He's not in. Okay.
I think he's playing international, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that was a championship team. And just real quick, let's just go to the current team. They're a really good competitive team this year. They added players like Malik Beasley, Cameron Payne, Robin Lopez is on this team, Jay Crowder's on this team, and they traded for Damian Lillard. So as of this recording, we don't know how this season's going to end, but the 1-2 punch of Dame and Giannis is going to be impactful more so in the playoffs. By far, that's his best teammate that Giannis has ever played with is Dame, who's going to be a future Hall of Famer. So we will see on that one.
For my Sonics teammates, I share this honor with you, especially the Rain Man, Shawn Kemp. Y'all talking about that Lob City over there in the Clippers? We was the original Lob City. And that's the truth. I was more mad at Shawn when he left because I think that he got mad because of what Seattle was doing and wasn't communicating with me so that I could get involved too. And that was the problem right there. And that's what I told him. I said, you made me more mad not telling me about the situation and let's get it done. And I threaten them and to move and leave and stuff like that. And we'll be cool. And we'll get something to get it done. And then I would have took a pay cut. I had got paid the year before. And let's restructure my contract so that we can get Shawn to get the money. You know what I'm saying? So that was when I was most mad at him. But then going to play Cleveland for the first time and playing against him, it was just funny. It was funny that I see my soulmate on another team, and he's going to work on us, and then I'm trying to go to work on his team, and it was just crazy. You know what I'm saying?
So that was Gary Payton, Shawn Kemp's best teammate. I think we all can agree on that one.
Absolutely.
Shawn Kemp drafted the '89 draft by the Seattle Supersonics. Came into a team they were okay. They were 41-41 his rookie season. They didn't draft Gary Payton yet. They drafted him in the second season. The first year, Shawn Kemp was on the Seattle Supersonics. They had players like Dana Barros, Dale Ellis, Avery Johnson, Xavier McDaniel, Derek McKee, and Olden Polynice. Now, I know Lucas is probably out of the loop on this one, but those were actually some really good players from that era. Xavier McDaniel went on to, be a good player with the Knicks. Derek McKee with the Pacers. Olden Polynice was an underrated player. People remember Olden Polynice. He was in a trade for Scottie Pippen. So let's move on to the next year. Once again, they were 41-41. They drafted Gary Payton. Pretty much the same roster, but the two of them, you started to see the chemistry between the two of them, kind of like a 1-2 punch, a point guard to a high-flying wing player. So he was the assist man to a lob threat. So in that clip we heard, Gary Payton said we were the original Lob City. I can see that. And before I ask you guys a question, let me go to the 92-93 team. That team's roster consisted of Sam Perkins, Michael Cage, Benoit Benjamin, and this player had the second most wins with Shawn Kemp at 370. I'm going to throw it around to the room. I'm going to start with Uriah. Who was this player's name?
Second most. I'll go with Detlef Schrempf.
Ben?
Yeah, Detlef.
Lucas?
I don't know any better, so I'm going to say I'm going to say those two guys. I'm going to say Deadlift too because I trust these guys.
You guys are wrong, but I'm going to throw it around real quick one more time, and I'm going to give you a hint. He was a coach.
A coach?
Currently or was?
Was a coach. Oh, Derek McKee?
I don't think Derek McKee was ever a coach.
I thought he was. So clearly that's not the answer.
Sam Perkins?
No. Nate McMillan.
That's who I was thinking of. That's who I was thinking of. Oh, man. Derek McKee was with the Indiana Pacers. What am I thinking? Yeah.
Yeah. From those old school players from the 80s and 90s, what players really stand out to you guys as being impactful or just memorable in any way?
He had a lot of guys who might have made one all-star team. He had a lot of fringe kind of actually kind of similar to Giannis. A lot of Eric Bledsoe type talent. You know what I mean? Might have made an all-star team with Olden Polynice. So we mentioned Nate McMillan. So a lot of role players, guys who knew their roles, not superstars, So obviously Detlef and Gary Payton were, but outside of that, it was just a lot of but good role players.
Yeah, it's a good point, Ben. Role players that knew what their job was, and you had a young Shawn Kemp, essentially fresh out of high school, trying to find his way. And I think names that really took me back, Dana Barros. What a fun player who was a great shooter, undersized for a point guard, ended up with the Sixers at some point. The other player was Xavier McDaniel. He was one of the few players that would get in Jordan's face and pick a fight. Now, typically that would happen in New York, but it did. I think it did happen in Seattle. There was a few
their
times.
Chances in the finals once. I think he started jawing off, and then Jordan went off.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You don't want to poke the bear. So mentioning players like Dana Barros and one other player, Dale Ellis. If you ever get a chance to watch his highlights, that dude was such a good shooter. Such a good 3-point shooter. I mean, you leave him open, you're guaranteed to go in. So those stood out to me.
I mean, like I said before, I was crawling, but I will say this. Shout out to the GM for good roster construction, building around a young core and doing it quickly. A lot of teams can't do that, so shout out to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So go to the 96 team, won 64 games, 18 losses, coached by George Karl. Went up against the 96 Bulls team, one of the best ever, 72-win team. Some of Shawn Kemp and Gary Payton teammates were in that season Nate McMillan, like I mentioned, Detlef Schrempf, Irvin Johnson, not Irvin Magic Johnson, the other Irvin Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Hershey Hawkins, that's a name we haven't heard in a while. And Eric Snow.
E. Snow. Okay.
Really?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they drafted him.
I know Eric Snow.
Yeah, so that was the 96 Seattle team. Came up short. I mean, what were they going to do against that Bulls team in the finals? But that was the peak of the Gary Payton, Shawn Kemp era. Like you mentioned there, he eventually left Seattle and joined the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is the part where he becomes a little bit of a journeyman here. He goes from Cleveland to Portland to Orlando, where his career ends in the NBA. Just real quick to breeze by some of these teams Shawn Kemp was on. The 96 Cavaliers team. He was on with Adrunas Ilgauskas.
Wow.
Hey, Big Z.
Underrated player too. Adrunas was good. He was good, especially when LeBron got there. Wesley Persons, Bob Sura, and Danny Ferry.
Bobby Sura. Okay.
And just to wrap this up real quick, let's go to his Orlando team. That was his last team that he was on. Darrell Armstrong, Pat Garrity, Horace Grant, Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady, Mike Miller, and Jock Vaughn, current Nets coach.
Need some talent. They had back end there.
That was actually a really good team. They only won 42 games.
Mike Miller was rookie of the year. He was T-Mac was in his prime. I'll start this off. I just looked it up. So that Seattle team in the mid-90s, they won 57 games, 63, 57, and 64. Back to back to back. They were dominant. And then what's weird is after they traded Kemp for Vin Baker, they won 61 games, which is crazy. I remember that. in the 98 season, but that team was like a powerhouse, like consistently winning 60 games plus. So yeah, that stands out to me how dominant they were. And it's interesting comparing Giannis. Giannis is kind of equally dominant. Like he's always, his teams, they restructure it, reshape it, but they're always around 60 wins.
The one teammate that Shawn Kemp had that could not escape Jordan, even though he went 3,000 miles to a different coast, was Hersey Hawkins, who got trounced by Jordan and the Bulls when Barkley was there. And then he goes to Seattle, and all of a sudden he has to guard Jordan in the finals, right? Because remember, I think it was The Last Dance, George Karl did not want Gary Payton on Jordan in the finals. So Hersey Hawkins got torched pretty much every time down the floor. And the one thing that this segment, Maurice, brings up to me, and I never thought of it, and I'm so glad we're doing this, is you think about the 96 Bulls, and they had Rodman at that point. Well, imagine if Horace Grant was there instead of Rodman. Would Horace Grant have been able to slow down Shawn Kemp? I don't know. I think maybe Seattle wins against the Bulls, maybe the 93 or 94 Bulls.
And Uriah, on that note, it's argued, like, I didn't realize how good Detlef was. He was an all-NBA player. So they had a big three. Like, they had a big three. They had 3 all-NBA players, not all-stars, all-NBA players. So that team was... Yeah, that team, you're right, Uriah.
It was solid. Strempf was a good shooter, good all-around player. So, and Irvin Johnson, another one of those guys that knew his role, crashed the boards, contest shots. And
big shooters.
Yeah. Hersey Hawkins was a good three-point shooter, too.
I think we tend to forget the chemistry between Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp. In the 90s, it's crazy. In the 90s, you have Stockton and Malone, you have Jordan and Pippen. We tend not to talk about Kemp and Payton as much.
Right.
You know what I mean? I actually think they were like the third best duo of that era.
Yeah, and it's weird that like I said, they had about 6 years of almost 60 wins. And it is interesting that all these Seattle fans, they want a team back in a way. I get why. That team kind of ran the 90s.
And didn't in NBA Jams, wasn't Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp, was that an option for NBA Jams, the video game?
They were the option. Yeah, I remember them.
I would love to know, like, throughout history, how many people chose that tandem? Because I
definitely did. Yeah. And then I would say, you're right. We talked about this in the intro. Yeah, the Seattle Sonics, when they changed that logo during the finals, man, that I remember you couldn't get a Kemp jersey, and then just how cool they were the first one to do the kind of new style. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I remember.
Did you like that logo?
The new one, yeah, the darker green. Yeah, I liked it.
I like the old one. Yeah, with the bright yellow. I do like that one. We left Lucas out, guys. Lucas,
you're good. Look,
what do you think?
I was a wee little lad at this point. The only thing I know about this is that Gary Payton never really won a championship. That's
well, he did a ring chase at the end with the Lakers.
Yeah,
he got one, right?
He did get one.
He got one with Miami, guys.
Oh, he did. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
And he played too. He was got some decent minutes.
Yeah,
backup point guard, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
Now that we've set up the debate with all the facts on Giannis Antetokounmpo and Shawn Kemp, it's time for you to make your case.
At this point, it's not about our opinion, it's about yours.
We'll see you on your favorite social media platform, ready to check out your takes. Chime in on our Instagram at NBA_now_and_then_pod, on Twitter X at NBA_now and then, and on our Facebook page, NBA Now and Then.
All right, everyone, it's been great talking about these amazing players, but we have to go. So until next time, this has been NBA Now and Then, the greatest comparisons. Peace.
See you.
Later.